What's up, YouTube? How's everybody doing tonight? Let me turn this down a little bit. So, as you can tell by the title of this video, we're going to jump off topic. I'm not doing a reaction video tonight. As you can tell, we are going to talk about something that's been going around YouTube, been going around CMT. People has heard about it, people haven't heard about it, and it kind of bothers me because there's a lot of people out there who becomes an independent artist. Some of them stay true to the game. Some of them get found by this big old company and get signed to a label. All right? And it seems like every year it gets worse and worse. And it seems like the people who writes articles, the people who writes papers, the people who are writers like to put false information out there. And it's sad when they do it, because they do it to good people who try to do good and try not to do good, if that makes sense. Now, Nashville, Tennessee, everybody who's a country singer always went there to become famous because of their music. A lot of people who are independent artists, sometimes they get a check thrown in front of them and they see dollar signs and they go after it, but they don't realize that people are going to write stupid shit about them. Now, I love the independent artist people. I really do. It's becoming more popular. It's becoming more better because they can control their money and they can control their songs. They can put out records every single day. They can put out 6-7 albums a month or more. But when you sign to a label, you have to do what they tell you to do. You have to follow them. They do not follow you. Now, the person I'm getting ready to speak on, he was an independent artist, and then he kind of turned his back. I feel like he turned his back on Ryan Upchurch. I felt like Ryan Upchurch took him under his wing and made a really good person out of him. And if it wasn't for Ryan, I don't think Chase Matthews will be where he's at today. That's how I feel. Okay? But the thing I disagree on, and a lot of people probably can hate me because I'm talking about Chase Matthews. That's all right. I don't care. But the thing I hate the most is, yes, Chase Matthews got a check thrown in front of him. He's seen the dollar signs. He signed. But that's his business. That's what he does. All right? But like I said, if it wasn't for Ryan Upchurch, Chase Matthews would not be where he's at today. That's how I feel, and that's what I'm going to stick by. And the article I read, they kind of, whoever wrote this article, I did not see a name on the article, but there could have been a name. It just said country music down at the very bottom, so I really don't know. But I can tell you this much: CMT is on the front of it. And you can see right here, CMT. All right, is the one that wrote. I'm going to say they're the ones that wrote this article. I don't know. I'm not 100% positive, so I'm just going to say whoever wrote the article, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Okay? Ever since Ryan Upchurch took Chase Matthews under his wing, I have followed Chase Matthews. I think he's a good singer. Him and Ryan worked very well together. The things that I don't like about Chase Matthews is how he did Ryan. How he just up and left a good thing. But Chase Matthews is a grown man and he can make his own decisions, and he thought that was the best way for him to go, so be it. But it is what it is, right? I like Ryan Upchurch no matter what. But I feel like Ryan Upchurch is the one it made Chase Matthews. I'm the one, I think and I believe, and this is just my beliefs, that if it wasn't for Ryan Upchurch, he would not be where he's at today. If it wasn't for Ryan Upchurch making and showing people who Chase Matthews is, he wouldn't be here today. He wouldn't be where he's at today. If that makes sense. So I give all the credit to Ryan Upchurch. Ryan Upchurch can make some good singers. Ryan Upchurch can make some good rappers. Ryan Upchurch actually gives people the opportunity to do that. But at the same time, you got people saying, oh, Ryan Upchurch didn't do this, Ryan Upchurch didn't do that. But anyways, I'm going to read a couple things that this person wrote about Chase Matthews. And one of them, and this is how it starts, okay? Chase Matthews' grandparents stood beside his dressing room door at the Grand Ole Opry Tuesday night, waiting to pray with him before he went on stage. The 25-year-old Nashville area native was dressed in all black. Well, it says dressed in black and full of energy. Okay? And then it comes down to he darted between his dressing room, his family. Dressed between his dressing room and his family. From his record label and a camera crew following him. Okay? Then it sits here, says Matthew didn't think he'd be nervous, but about making his Grand Ole Opry debut. But he was. Okay? Sounds good. Sounds like it's going pretty freaking well. And you guys can go and look this up if you want. All what you have to do is just type in CMT and it will bring it right up. Then it goes to, we're going to read down here, and I'm reading Chase Matthews. Okay? So, this is, you can get this off the internet, so I'm not bullshitting you. But, says here, the country singer dropped out of high school. The rap world had he, talking about him, He had a drug problem and was homeless as a 19-year-old before managing to strengthen his life, straighten his life out, and pursues a country music career. He signed with Warner Music Nashville in 2022 and now average 1.5 million monthly listeners on Spotify. Okay? And it's here in black and white. When his best friend was murdered, the country singer dropped out of high school, had a drug problem, and was homeless. Right there. Okay? I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Alright? And then they go down here, down a little farther. Oh, excuse me. Oh, let's see, where was it? Let's see, it says here. He struggled to believe in himself, and a lot of people do. A lot of people struggle when they're trying to find who they are. They do struggle. Okay. Everybody struggles to find out who they are. And the part I was going to read was everybody thought he was going to be a preacher. There was a part of the story here. It said something about everybody thought he was going to be or could have been a good preacher or something. So these people who are writing about him really don't know nothing about him, and that's sad. That's sad that you got these people writing articles about you about having a drug problem and being homeless. The stories I have heard, there's videos out there of Chase Matthews on YouTube talking about him, how he started his music career, where he started at, what he did when he dropped out of school. He never, ever, ever, and you can tell, he never, ever said anything about a drug problem, an alcohol problem, being homeless. He never said anything about himself being that. So where in the hell do CMT in the country music world, why would you take this person who was created in a mold by Ryan Upchurch and put him up on this pedestal, but why would you put he had a drug problem and he was homeless? Okay? It sounded like he grew up in a really good ass family, a church going family, a Christian family. And Chase Matthews, I can tell when someone was on drugs. I can tell if someone ever was on drugs because you can just tell. A recovering addict like myself can tell when someone who is on drugs or has been on drugs before. I'm sorry, but Chase Matthews never been on drugs. And I'm sorry, but if he keeps doing what he's doing with these people, I have a feeling that these people are going to talk so bad about him where they're going to push him into doing the drugs, partying. Once he gets to a certain point of his career, that's what they're going to focus on. Hey, you need to go to this party. Hey, you need to go talk to this person. Hey, you need to get this. Hey, go talk to this person. I'm going to introduce you to this person. Then he gets introduced to this chick. Then this chick's going to introduce him to all these other kind of drugs because he's going to be on tour. Well, when you go on tour, you're on tour 24/7. You get very little sleep because now you're pulled this direction, this direction, this direction, this direction. You're tired as hell. How are you going to sleep? You're not spending time with your family. You can't take your family everywhere. So guess what? You got to stay up somehow, right? Then you got this article talking smack about this, about him being homeless. Now, what pisses me off about these people is they're talking about someone who's never been homeless, don't have a clue on what homeless could be, don't even have a clue what drugs would even feel like. All right? I'm a recovering addict. I've been clean for a while now. I have been homeless. I was homeless for a very long time. Before I met the girl I'm with right now, I was homeless. I was bouncing around from friend's house to a friend's house, sleeping on couches, sleeping in the woods, sleeping underneath bridges, sleeping on parks benches, sleeping underneath park benches, sleeping in alleys, in the freezing cold, in the blistering heat, having no food to eat for weeks, trying to scrounge up a couple dollars just to get something to eat, something to drink. That's homeless. Then you got these people who think they can write articles about people that has never experienced it just to make them feel like there's something, to make their fame go up a higher. I think it's wrong. I really think it's wrong. For someone like Chase Matthews who don't know what it's like to be homeless, don't know what it's like to be on drugs. Then you got people that are homeless, people who have been homeless and has been on drugs. They don't fucking care what they say about those people. And that's what happens when you take a multi-million-dollar company who don't give a fuck. And it's just not those companies, it's the companies who are in your hometown that you work for. They don't care what you go through. They care less. They don't care if there's homeless around. But by God, if you got a lot of fucking money and you're making them a lot of money, they're going to tell you to hush your mouth. They're going to sit there and be like, look, and this is probably exactly what it said. Chase Matthews probably opened that up and seen what about drug history and being homeless, and he's shaking his head like, I never was this. But you think he's going to go up to anybody and be like, hey, don't write this about me? No. Because they're telling them, oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's going to take you down this road. It's going to take you to this path. And I've seen this before. I've seen this through rappers who has signed to labels. I've seen it of rock and roll stars that sign to labels, because once you start making a certain amount of money and they see, oh yeah, that's the band right there, that's the person right there, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to write something it's not true about them, and then we're going to turn it into something real big eventually, and now this person's going to have to do what we tell them. And honestly, I really hope Chase Matthews don't let them pull his strings. I hope he pulls their strings. That's what I hope for. But regardless what I have to say about this, I'm pissed off at that person who wrote that article about someone that's never been through that. Why don't you go out on your home streets and write about people who are living it right now, who are living that lifestyle right now? The homeless, the drug addicts, how they got there. Because they lost their jobs. Then they lost their homes. Then they became on the streets. Then they was depressed and got the drugs. Now they're doing drugs. Now they're homeless. Now their family have left. Because some people can't get out of that hole. Some people can't turn their lives around. Just like there's Army vets right now are homeless. And they need help. But you're going to sit there and say someone who's never lived on the streets and never once did a drug, maybe smoked weed here and there, maybe drink a beer, had a shot of whiskey. Last time I knew, he didn't do none of that. That's what he said in the past. These articles need to stop about people. And it's not going to stop until someone puts a stop to it. But that's life, right? But it is what it is. To end this note, just always remember, stay positive, stay true to yourself. Don't let anybody tell you you cannot dream and achieve your dreams, because you can. You just got to work hard for it. And if you ever do get that high up and become something, don't let anybody write anything bad about you. Stand up for yourself. Stand your grounds. If you have to, write an article for yourself. But with that said, Joker 1014's out. You guys have a good night and a blessed week. Stay safe out there. And I love y'all.